So now I think we will move right to our program because we're excited to hear about the Greeley Museum. So Susan, would you like to come up and do our formal introduction?
Okay, so our program today is presented by Geoff Havens, and not only is he new to Greeley, but he's even new to his job. He's been with the Greeley Museum for 4 months now. And last year, right around this time, our club actually gave the museum $900 to get their supplies that they needed to get started on their summer startup for the forging. So the museum is near and dear to our hearts because we've volunteered there quite a bit. So with that, Geoff, come on up and it is all yours.
I'll try to get your presentation up. Carolyn, did you do a share? Are we ready for a share? Whoops, wrong way. Well, still, let's see. Should we put it on slideshow? I don't know why it's still getting all that.
The last way here.
There you go. Let the man know that knows what he's doing.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody, because it is afternoon now. My name is Geoff Havens, and I have the pleasure to be the Curator of Historic Sites at the City of Greeley Museum System. I am responsible for Centennial Village Museum, for Meeker Home Museum, and for our White Plum Farm Learning Center out here on 10th Street. And I am here today to kind of give you guys an update about what's going on at the City of Greeley Museums, as well as a project that we are embarking on, and how you might be able to get involved in that project if it reaches out and resonates with you. So to get us started, I have the 30-second elevator pitch of what museums are, what we do, and I'm going to let that play for us. Well, maybe if I get the sound to work again. Let's see. Back. There we go. Thanks for good.
Relive the early American West at the City of Greeley Museums. Through curated exhibitions, hands-on opportunities, and unique artifacts, Greeley Museums create meaningful experiences for every visitor. Step back in time at Centennial Village, or get to know famous Northern Colorado residents like Rattlesnake Kate at the Greeley History Museum. Every trip to Greeley Museums is a new experience. Plan your visit today. Visit greeleymuseums.com to learn more.
So there is kind of the basic introduction of who we are and what we do. And I mentioned earlier, I supervise 3 sites, and there's a 4th. I don't know if the Zoom is covering it up or not, but I like to do a little quiz when I do these presentations to see how familiar everyone is with our museum system. It's real easy, so don't worry. But if I could get a show of hands from everyone who's been to Centennial Village Museum before. All right, good job. Okay, fantastic. All right. Same thing, show of hands, who's been to the Downtown History Museum? Very good, A+. Now we're getting to the harder ones. Who has taken a tour of the Meeker Home Museum in the past? Fewer, but still good. All right, and then lastly, who has been out to White Plum Farm for an event, to walk the grounds, anything like that? All right, those of you who raise your hands all 4 times, you get an A+. Everyone, I'll give you a B+ for an honorable attempt. So those are our four different museum sites, and like the video said, our mission is to preserve and interpret the history of the Colorado High Plains region with a particular emphasis on the city of Greeley and Weld County. So we tell the stories of this place. We keep those stories of the past all the way from the founding of the Union Colony, which became Greeley with Nathan Meeker, to present day alive. We do that through our museum exhibits. If you've not been to our downtown museum in a while, we have 2 new exhibits that have opened this spring. They're phenomenal. Was anyone here? I should ask. We just recently renamed our main gallery in honor of a former staff member, Miss Peggy Ford Waldo. And when I was at the dedication the other night, it was said that Peggy knew everybody. So I have to ask, this is another experiment. Does anyone know Peggy Ford Waldo in her time with the museums? All right, yes, so it is true. She knows everybody. Okay. But we've recently renamed the main gallery at the museum in her honor. And it's a fantastic, if you've not been downtown in a while, come and see us. We've got a lot of new stuff ongoing there, and it's always a treat to see what's new each season. On top of our downtown exhibits, we have what we call Living History at Centennial Village. So if you come during our normal season or during some of our special events, you might see staff members or some of our volunteers like Paul out demonstrating historic blacksmithing. When you needed a bunch of nails in 1902 and the nearest hardware store was 150 miles away, what did you do? You made them, yes. So we have historic home tours, we have craft demonstrations, we have an 8-acre site that you can walk around and enjoy the beautiful gardens, and we're always doing something different and new out of Centennial Village. We're open each summer on Fridays and Saturdays, starting the Memorial Day weekend and running to the Labor Day weekend. And then lastly, if you've not been or if it's been a while, our Meeker Home Museum is open again after a couple of years of being closed during the pandemic. We will have that historic home, Nathan Meeker's home, open on the second Saturday of June, July, and August for in-person tours. So we haven't been able to open it for a while because of staff and other safety concerns, but we are excited to open it again this year. If you don't have the time or that Saturday doesn't work for you, you can also tour Meeker's home online. On our website, we have a 3D walk-through tour of Meeker's house. And if you're like me and you like to read every single bit of text on an exhibit, this is the online tour for you. You can click on all the pictures, all the furniture, and see where it came from, why it's historic and important. And you can spend easily 3 or 4 hours just chasing down the various rabbit holes that our exhibits include on this online tour. So highly recommend. Lastly, White Plum Farm is a little bit of a place in a holding circle right now. Right now it is open as a city park. So if you are looking for a great place to read a book on a lovely, not quite as windy afternoon, White Plum Farm is a great place to go find a shade tree, read a book, walk your dog, hang out, let the kids run around. It's open, the grounds are open for your enjoyment from sunrise to sunset each day. So that's kind of the basics of who we are and what we're up to. One thing I'm going to talk in a lot more detail today is a project we are currently undertaking to better interpret and educate our visitors and our citizens here in Greeley about Weld County agriculture. And we've come up with a tagline, celebrating our roots with a fruitful future. So everybody knows, I hope everyone knows, that Greeley itself was founded as an agricultural community. I don't know what grades, is it 4th and 5th grade here they teach Colorado history? It's been a while, I realize, but this town began as a place, in fact, when Nathan Meeker first visited the area, he was writing a column for an agricultural newspaper. And he went, this would be a great place to make a community, to farm. And indeed, the first colonists who came out here came out as agriculturalists. In that first year, they dug some 25 miles of irrigation ditch to get water from the rivers to the farm fields. But they started off as farmers before anything else. And agriculture has had a long history shaping this region around us. So everything from our famous potatoes that we grew back in the 19-teens, 20s, 30s, until the potato blight in the 1940s, the sugar beet crop, which grew at one point 1/4 of America's sugar, and all of the other agricultural product that is still grown even to this day. We have a long and deep history with agriculture in this community. But if I went to an average visitor at one of our museum sites, they probably wouldn't be able to tell me much of that. And it's really a shame because our agricultural economy is still very vibrant, and in fact, it is hugely significant to our economy today. A couple of things I didn't know, having moved here in mid-December, we are the single highest producing county in all of Colorado for agricultural products. We beat out everybody else. Not only that, but small farms make up some 38% of our farming community here in Weld County, and that's a growing number. That includes everything from new farms started by folks who are moving out to the area to the Centennial farms that have been in operation for over 100 years. So farming is a community endeavor here, and it shows no signs of slowing down. And despite this, the average person on the street doesn't really have an appreciation of where their food comes from, the struggle it takes to grow their food, and the history behind it all. So that's a problem that we would like to meet as a museum system. And we don't currently have a great space to do it. If you've come out to Centennial Village before, you'll know we have a couple of agricultural exhibits out on the site. We have a head gate from one of the original water ditches. We have a windmill. We talk a lot about Mr. Monfort and the cattle industry, but nowhere do we really get into detail about agriculture. And it's really a shame because we have, as a system, a huge impact on our community. We are a place where we can make some changes in this regard. We pulled some numbers from 2019, the last year, what my staff calls the before times. And I was amazed at how many folks our sites reach each year. We have 2 week-long events in the spring and fall every year where we bring out some 5,000 plus school students to learn about Colorado history, not in a classroom, but where it happened, in the buildings, on the sites, watching, and in some cases, learning the crafts that were done historically. We have a number of other special events where we talk about agriculture. Baby Animal Days is actually tomorrow. Baby Animal Days, our first special event of the year, starts tomorrow, Friday the 15th, and runs through the 24th, with the exception of Easter Sunday. If you come on Easter, nobody's going to be there. We saw over 4,000 people at our last Baby Animal Days. Other events that have agricultural impact. We have another 1,500 students each year come out for individual school field trips. We have a event called Pets and Popsicles, which is where our baby animals are no longer babies. They are full-grown animals, and they're getting ready to head home. It's kind of the last farewell to our livestock of the year. So we have all these events that touch on, or in some cases are centered around agriculture, but we don't have that focal point. And when we're reaching out to that community, we are trying to reach out to all of our community as best we can. So we have a very diverse population here in Weld County, and we work with the entirety of the school district here, District 6, to bring in students, no matter if they are Hispanic population, if they are Caucasian, if they are, they grew up here, they're from elsewhere. No matter if English is a first or second language, we try to reach out to and draw in everybody we can. And based off our numbers of prior years, have been rather successful at it. So we've got the audience, we've got the visitation, we've got the space. We just need a focal point to really highlight the importance of agriculture here in Greeley and Weld County. And accordingly, we have begun a project to build what we are calling an agricultural heritage center at Centennial Village. So everyone knows when you go out to Centennial Village, the first big thing you see as you come up on the site is the Monfort House, a big 2-story white structure right on the corner there. That area is also where our windmill is, where our head gate is as far as water and agriculture. So we would love to put a building just by Monfort House where we can truly tell the story of agriculture in Weld County. And this, the pictures on the screen are kind of what it would look like with some renderings that have been done for us. It would be a multi-purpose, multi-use space. It would help us preserve some of our large agricultural artifacts that we have as part of our museum collection. Currently at White Plum Farm in a storage building, we have some 8 or 9 large agricultural artifacts that are just sitting away from public view, out of sight, behind a locked door, because I have nowhere else to put them. This structure would allow us to display all of these artifacts, mostly related to the sugar beet, and potato economy of the early 1900s, and tell their stories. How was farming done in 1904, in 1910. How hard was it? How laborious? And then what did these machines do to make life that little bit easier? Accompanying these artifacts, we would put in a number of exhibits to cover agricultural history, foodways, and the importance of the food process from seeds to harvest and production. And we would do that through a combination of traditional exhibits, so the panels that you would see downtown that have awesome graphics, descriptive text, and also some higher technology exhibit materials as well, touch screens, things to, the kids love to get out, love to play video games wherever they can these days. It's great when they don't know they're learning. This would also give us an accessible space on the eastern half of our village. So currently, I don't have a accessible restroom on the eastern side of Centennial Village. This building would let us change that. It would give us a accessible gathering space, a place where we could have community celebrations, classes, workshops, lectures. Right now, we don't have a spot in our village that lets us sit more than 25 or 30 people comfortably. And all of those are in historic buildings where you can't really get messy or make too much of a noise or ruckus before my colleague in collections starts getting a little bit upset with us. So this would give us a space to host dinners, to have hands-on workshops, and to really allow the community a gathering place at Centennial Village. This public owned and operated facility where folks could come and hold gatherings at our historic site. And so accordingly, we've drawn up specifications for the building, and the bottom right picture there kind of shows how the inside of the building would look. We'd have exhibits on one half of the building, all set up, those large agricultural artifacts, panels, things like that. And then the other half of the building would be kind of bare space. It would be space we could set up tables, set up chairs, things like that. The building itself would be a metal post frame structure, classic barn type thing to just kind of have that look of an agricultural building, but would have large roll-up doors. We could move things in and out for various presentations. Of a nice spring day when it's not blowing 40 miles an hour, we could have those doors up and you could come and go as you wanted to in the site. And we would be able to do some landscaping and garden work as well as part of this project, such that not only can you learn about agriculture inside the building, but if you step outside, there are some garden beds so you can see it in action. Growing a variety of crops, natives to Colorado, historically grown crops, things like that. And there's kind of my last real slide here is kind of a picture it slide. So there's where we would envision the building to be set at Centennial Village. It would be a perfect fit for that area of the village where we have right now just kind of a big open field, and would allow us to install that deeper respect for farming and ranching in our world today. So how can you guys get involved? I'm not going to ask anyone to open their checkbook today or anything like that, although if you want to, I won't stop you. Where we are in the process right now is what we're calling our quiet phase. This is the time of the project where we are reaching out to businesses, corporations, grant partners, nonprofits, things like that, to inquire if they are interested in supporting our endeavor and what that support might look like. We've had a number of gracious donors already reach out to us, such that I can say out of our $750,000 fundraising goal, we're about 1/3 of the way there. So we've raised about $300,000, both in fiscal support, but also in kind work. So things like helping with concrete foundations and things like that. So what I'm asking of you guys today is, who do you know who might be interested in supporting a project like this? Does your company have a nonprofit budget each year and they're looking for a good partner to support in some way, shape, or form? Do you have a friend that you know is really big into agriculture and education and wants to get super involved in the project? Things like that. That's the kind of help we are looking for at the moment. And if you know someone or you are that person, we would love to talk further with you and get into the details and give you all of the information that we have of our project and really help you get a deeper understanding of this vision that we have. So if you are interested, or if you know someone who's interested, I've left a couple of brochures on each of the tables, the half-page flyers just as a reminder. And I also have our contact information up here on the screen. So you are welcome to contact my supervisor, my boss, our museums manager, Sarah Sachs, and that's her contact information up there on the screen. If you like QR codes, there's a QR code for you to scan, or you can visit our website, greeleymuseums.com/support. I'll also be hanging out for a little while, so if you have more questions, you want more information, I'm happy to give you my business card as well and answer any deeper questions you might have about the project. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity to come and speak about our vision today. I hope that you'll help us in joining our endeavor to bring a deeper understanding of our agricultural history and roots back to Greeley and Weld County at Centennial Village Museum. And I really appreciate the chance to come talk with you guys today. Thank you. I want to get more questions, so I'm happy to answer questions as they come.
Is the city funding or matching funds, or is it budgetary?
Sure. So the city budget is not funding any part of this project. We do have our friends group, the Friends of Greeley Museums, that are matching up to $40,000 of our project here. But with how the city funds capital projects, if we tried to do it through the city, it would be a significantly longer process, whereas a capital campaign is really enabling us to hit the ground running and move a lot quicker with the project itself.
I might have missed it, but do you have some goal dates for your fundraising, or
Sure. So we're hoping to end the quiet phase the end of this year, so December of 22. And depending on how the next couple months go, we intend to start kind of our public fundraising, where we're talking about this at our museums during events and doing TV spots and all that kind of stuff, either end of this year or beginning of 23, just depending on how kind of things move with the fundraising process.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Are you planning to allow there to be, whether it's an exhibit or a space or some part of that structure, to be sponsored by an organization so that they could basically say, this is,
Yeah, that is definitely
our room or our thing?
Yeah, that is something with naming rights, they have just kind of developed a policy of that, but that is something that we are happy to have that conversation about and to move through our brand new, they just issued it like a month ago, policy, but I can get the particulars on that for you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So if Linda wanted to write a check for $750,000, you put her name on it.
We would do our best to call it the Rotary Agriculture, whatever name, we'd figure it out.
All right, fundraising chair. Great.
Yes, I see a question there in the back.
So we were fortunate enough to attend the Rattlesnake Cake musical down at the school this spring. I'm just curious, did all of that hubbub surrounding that musical, did it bring any new visitors to the Greeley Museum?
Sure, yes. So for those of you who don't know, the Denver Center for the Performing Arts did a world premiere of the Rattlesnake Cake musical, telling the story of Kate Slaughterback in musical form. I got to see it as well. It was a really cool show. And we have actually, particularly at the downtown museum, because we brought the replica dress down for the show, but we always said, okay, if you want to see the real thing, you have to come to us here. And we have seen that visitation. I haven't seen numbers for the last month or two, but the folks downtown have told me that they have seen an uptick in people coming from the Denver metro area to see the real deal and see Kate's dress in person. So yeah, that has had an impact, and it's been really cool to see. I'd love to see the show come to Greeley so that everyone here could go see it too. It was really quite a treat. Yes.
Is Potato Days back on this year?
Is Potato Days back on this year? Yes, we are pleased to say that all of our normal special events will be returning this year for 2022. So that's Potato Day in September, our annual fundraiser with the Friends of Greeley Museums. We, of course, are starting with Baby Animal Days tomorrow, which is crazy to think about. We'll open our regular season with Centennial Celebration, May 28th. And then we go into our summertime season where we have Pets and Popsicles. We're open as part of the Greeley Stampede and the Weld County Fair. And then we'll be doing our fall and winter events this year as well, Halloween and Homesteaders Holiday. So if you like, if you have kids who like trick or treating, if you want to hear some spooky historic ghost stories, I've got a fall event for you guys. And then I'm excited to learn about the Christmas celebration as well, because I'm still learning the details of that. But it's going to be a great time, and we're so happy to be back open and to be able to serve our community again after a long, strange time over the last couple of years. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Ag has been and is a very important part of Will County. At one time, we were ranked like number 4 in the nation production-wise. Where do we rank today? Do you know?
I don't know today. I'd have to look that one up and get back with you. I imagine we're still right there in that top tier, considering the research I have seen, though. Great. Well, thank you guys again so much. I really appreciate the time and the opportunity.
It was really interesting, and I think the project sounds fascinating and needed, and would really be a great addition, because we never want to lose connection to our roots, right? So we've got to do these things so that never happens. So that was fantastic. So for spending your time with us today, we have a Rotary Youth Leadership Camp that we sponsor every summer. We're going to put money in your name towards that, because we love to give scholarships for high school and junior high kids to go to those camps.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.